Talking about a revolution sounds. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution, it sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the uniformed lines, sitting around waiting for a promotion. Don't you know? Talking about a revolution sounds. Who are people gonna rise up and get their share? Who are people gonna rise up? Take what's there. Don't you know you better run, 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 run. Oh, I said you better run, 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 run. Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Cause finally the tables are starting to turn. Cause finally the tables are starting.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, the 16th day of December. The year is 2014, and if you can hear the sound of my voice, then you are the revolution. I am Smokin Mekhael, and this is the Revolutionary Nightly News. Smashing through the lies of the government, smashing through the lies of the New World Order, smashing through the lies of the Illuminati. Somber news today with the siege in Martin Place ending with the police storming the cafe this morning. 3 people died, including the gunman. This is a tragic way for this to end. I didn't want anyone to be hurt during this. But I'm still going to push forward and explain why this is a false flag attack. More evidence has emerged today. And not only why this is a false flag attack, but how this ties into the greater picture and how this ties into the ongoing propaganda and false flag attacks all over the world. This false narrative, this false flag paradigm, where through the television, the news, film, music, sports, through every aspect of our lives, we're being pushed an agenda, we're being pushed an ideology, we're being pushed lies telling us that certain people are guilty for certain things, while the government has our best interest at heart. The government is trying to protect us. I'm here to tell you that's not true, and I'm here to show you proof as to why the government is out to cause havoc. They're out to kill people, they're out to cause terror, they're out to cause fear. That's what they've done with this incident. And people have accused me today of being insensitive and not having respect towards the victims in this tragedy. And that's really not the case. Understand me and look into my eyes and believe me when I tell you that I have respect for human life more than anything. I also have respect for the millions of innocent people, children, little boys, little girls, old people, people in the prime of their lives who have done nothing, who have died at the hands of this military-industrial complex, this global government that reaches its tentacles into every part of the world, into every aspect of our lives. So many people have died from this false narrative, from believing the lies about 9/11, which was such a massive false flag. It was such a staged event. And what happened yesterday in Sydney, what happened this morning here in Sydney, happened off the back of 9/11. That was setting the stage. For how long can you bomb innocent people in Iraq and Afghanistan and Africa and other parts of the world. How long can you do that and not expect some kind of backlash? The backlash was intended. The backlash was planned. It's a divide and conquer strategy. If you read their texts, it is a great game for them. The clash of civilizations, the West against Islam. So they can use their terrorist groups, ISIS, ISIL, the Mujahideen, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, etc. They can use their groups that they fund, they arm, they train to cause terror and kill people all over the world, while at the same time pumping all of that out in the media and scaring people so much that they vote for these politicians who take away more of our freedoms day by day. And the end game for them is total global domination, where it will be like living in Baghdad if you live in Sydney. I really don't want that to happen. Those of us who understand the end game, who can see what's going on, understand the danger that we're in. And all the people who are wishing nasty things upon me for even expressing this opinion, hoping that I die, hoping that I crumble with my DJ career, hoping that I fall, just for having the courage to express this opinion. You can say whatever you like about me. I'm obviously not going to waste my time replying to you on Facebook. But understand that I'm really doing this from a position of love, from a position of seeing what's going on, this pattern that has been emerging, that I've been talking about for over a decade. And it pains me to see all this stuff coming true. I'm trying to put it all together so people have the courage to speak up about it. And I have been edified, strengthened by people who have come forward and told me, thank you for talking about this. And that's happening more and more. We may be in the minority, but all it takes is a passionate minority to change the world. And together, you and I, we will win our freedom. And we will win freedom for the future generations. We will put the lies down. We will lift up the truth. We will come together in the spirit of love and understand that it's the government who's manipulating the population, who's causing this fear, causing this terror, causing this death. Let's have a look at this article from theage.com.au. Sydney siege gunman Man Haron Monis was on bail for 40 sexual assault charges and accessory to murder. Man Haron Monis was convicted in 2013 over offensive letters he wrote to families of dead Australian soldiers and was charged with sexual offences in October relating to his time as a self-proclaimed spiritual healer. A reporter at Tuesday morning's press conference with the New South Wales Premier posed the uncomfortable question about how the Martin Place siege that will now surely become the subject of further investigation. How is this gunman free on bail? From theguardian.com, Sydney siege. Magistrate gave Man Haron Monis bail, saying he did not pose risk to public. Tony Abbott from smh.com.au. Martin Place siege gunman was known to ASIO, but not on terror watch list. I'll move this towards the end so I can discuss this separately. If we look at who this man is, he's gone by several names and he's misrepresented himself in the past. From SOTT.net, Sydney siege circus. Who's behind the cartoon character Sheik Man Haron Monis? As predicted, the suspect amid the Sydney siege has long been on the radar of Australian law enforcement, as well as a frequent visitor to Australia's court system. Before that, however, he came to Australia as a political refugee, an opponent of what he called the Iranian regime, and was even interviewed by Australia's ABC network in 2001 as part of an ongoing anti-Iranian propaganda campaign. It has long been revealed that longtime agitator alias Man Haron Monis, also known as Mantegi Borojerdi, was the suspect amid the so-called Sydney siege hostage crisis. Monis Borogerdi claims to be a Shia religious leader and is often seen in press photos dressed as one. Despite this, he was at the center of a hostage crisis requesting the flag of the Islamic State, terrorist organization which to be delivered to him while claiming association with the ISIS brothers. Neither Islamic nor a state, ISIS is led by US, Israeli and Saudi-backed Wahhabi terrorists, promoting a perversion of Sunni Islam, the bane to both genuine Sunnis and Shia worldwide, and against which both the nations of Syria and Iran are fighting. Monis Borogerdi rose to infamy amid two notable incidents, one being his involvement in the stabbing death and burning of his ex-wife, the other being his controversial campaign of sending hate letters to the families of dead Australian soldiers killed during the invasion and occupation of Afghanistan. The latter was used extensively to stir up division across the pro- and anti-war political divide. The point that I'm making, and the point that this article makes very well, is that everything done in the name of ISIS should be looked at as being the direct result of the United States and their allies funding and arming and training ISIS and their subsidiaries all over the Middle East, and they're exporting it all over the world. And I've said this before, it's to cause terror, it's to commit these horrendous, disgusting, vile, murderous acts, and it's then for the government to step in and say, oh, we're going to save you, just let us pass these laws that allow us to collect more of your data. Just let us pass these laws that take away more bail conditions. Let's pass more laws that take away the right to silence. Let's pass more laws to take away habeas corpus. It's all an engineered plan, an engineered plot. And as much as I have respect for the people who lost their lives yesterday and their families, I also have respect for the people who are suffering on an ongoing basis as a result of this fraudulent war, this deception that has killed millions and will kill millions, maybe billions more, if free people don't stand up against it. I'm here doing the right thing. The results be damned, but I know that we will be successful. Do not grow weary in doing good, for at the right time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. And this article echoes what I was just saying. From landdestroy.blogspot.com.au, America's terrorist mercenaries wreak havoc in Sydney. The latest incident should be examined in the context of ISIS' genesis and the source of its ability to seemingly menace the entire planet with violence and acts of terrorism with seemingly inexhaustible resources. The United States, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and several other European and Middle Eastern partners openly conspired to use Al-Qaeda as a regional mercenary force for a proxy war against Syria, Iran, and Hezbollah in Lebanon as far back as 2007, having then materialized this force in 2011 and having openly trained, armed, funded, equipped, and harbored this terrorist force since then, up to and including today. The Sydney siege is but the latest, predictable fallout from the West's global state-sponsored terrorism. A life in Sydney isn't worth more than a life in Afghanistan or Iraq or Kenya or Guatemala or Russia or China or anywhere else in the world. Human life is precious. And the fact is, you and I are facing a massive attack, a full spectrum dominance attack through media, through taxation, through poisons in the food, poisons in the water. The people who seek to control the whole planet are gaining on their goal. They are gaining ground. But at the same time, the people who are looking for freedom are gaining ground as well. Freedom. Freedom. I just want freedom to be able to make money, or to be able to do what I love and not have the government take away a massive amount of my income to spend it on weapons of war, to kill people who've done nothing wrong. I want to be free to drive down the street without fear of being randomly pulled over and saying, you got to stick this in your mouth. I want to go to a music festival without dogs coming up and sniffing me and then the police forcing me to strip naked. I want to be free, and I want you to be free, and I want your children to be free. That's why I'm here sending this broadcast worldwide, because I know, despite the criticism that I receive, because of the criticism I receive, I must escalate what I'm doing. I must escalate. Because who else has the courage to speak out? I was so happy today when people told me that what I was doing gave them courage to speak out. And you should have courage to speak out as well, because you only get one shot at this life. Do you want to go along in a state of fear, going along with whatever the government tells you, participating in this perpetual warfare? Or do you want to take a step back, look at what's really going on, do your own independent research? And when you discover that the government is really a malevolent organization, you'll feel that spirit of self-preservation, the instinct of self-preservation, the most powerful instinct in the universe. You'll feel that rise up, and you'll feel that you want to protect your family and friends, and you will spread this message as well. I encourage you to have the courage to do it. You can do it. Together, we are going to do it. The so-called Islamic State, neither Islamic nor a state, is in reality simply a rebrand of Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda itself, the terrorist front created by US and Saudi intelligence agencies as part of another covert proxy war, then against the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. Going further, ISIS terror serves only one purpose: justifying Western military intervention. Taking hostages, waving around an ISIS flag, and making cartoonish demands to speak to Australia's Prime Minister. Were ISIS an actual independent military and political organization, serves no strategic, political or tactical purpose. Instead, it serves only to reignite public outrage and stir up support for further Western military intervention in both Syria and Iraq and possibly beyond. Amid any criminal investigation, the question cui bono, or to whose benefit, must be asked and answered. Amid the rash of ISIS plots, including those not openly known to be entrapment operations carried out by Western security agencies themselves, the only winner is the West's foreign policy of increasing hysteria at home and military intervention in Syria and Iraq abroad. That was very succinct. Cui bono. This is what they asked in ancient Rome when there was a crime committed. Cui bono. Who benefits? Let me tell you, you don't benefit. I don't benefit. Your children don't benefit. The people who benefit are the government, because they get more power. The military grows stronger. The military industrial complex grows stronger. The New World Order comes even closer to fruition. It's up to us to stop that from happening. It's up to us to find freedom for ourselves. No one is going to do it for us. You can't rely on anyone. I don't want you to believe a damn word I'm saying. Look it up for yourself. You'll discover the truth. Don't let fear cloud your mind. I understand everyone's emotions are running so high in Sydney today, but they want you to be scared. I'm not scared, right? I'm sure the government agents are watching this as well. Come and get me, right? I will continue to speak out. I don't care. Understand that you, your children, are not going to be exempt from the terror that the government is pushing all over the world. We really need to decide which side we want to be on. Do you want to be with the government? Do you want to be with evil? Or do you want to be with the free people of the world? Do you want to be with love? It's up to you. But I know that we will prevail. I know that we will prevail. There's been a lot of talk on Facebook about this video that was put out showing 4 female hostages from inside the cafe last night. And a lot of people are talking about that they may be crisis actors. I don't know that. What I will say is that in this video, they seem incredibly calm for people who were in a hostage situation. And they seem to be angry at Tony Abbott. And genuinely, they seem to have empathy with their captor, with the gunman. I don't know if this is Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know if they are crisis actors, but I'm not going to throw that accusation out there because I don't know. You can check out this video for yourself. I'm not going to play it. Here's the kicker. This article from the dailymail.co.uk 6 weeks ago. This is not Syria, it's Brisbane. Combat troops in full assault gear carry out anti-terror drills in ahead of the G20 summit. And when I saw this, I must thank one of my subscribers. His name escapes me for the moment, but thank you for pointing me onto this. Would you have a look at what these camouflaged men are raiding? Q Caesar Cafe. So on top of what I discussed yesterday with the drill in Martin Place last year with military for a terrorist operation, there is as well this 6 weeks ago where they are going over, having a drill for this exact same scenario at a cafe. And that becomes, it makes it even more obvious that this is more than it seems. This is more than what the government is saying. This is more than what the media is saying. This is a false flag operation. Have a look at the history of the man that committed this. Have a look at the raid in Martin Place. Have a look at the recent terror laws that have been passed in Australia, the recent terror raids, the recent escalation in troops. I just want people to see through the deception. And I'm happy to take the criticism of the people who don't understand this yet. I love you. And for those of you who are wishing bad upon me, wishing me pain, wishing me death, wishing me failure in my DJ career, let me tell you something. I have been raised up for such a time as this. The righteous will not grow weary. I could be adrift on the ocean, and I will survive. I'll walk into the lion's den and walk out with a smile on my face. I go into the fire and come out without the smell of smoke because I'm doing the right moral thing. By every living human being on the planet, I am doing the right moral thing, exposing this tyranny. So you can criticize me all you want, but this righteousness that I feel, this knowledge that I am pushing love and peace and truth and freedom and fighting against tyranny, that gives me strength. And your criticisms give me strength. I pray for you, and I'm not going to engage in your ridiculous insult games. I'm too good for that, right? My mission is too clear. My destiny is too great for me to do that. Understand, the revolution is here. And the revolution is here. You are the revolution. And this article from back in 2008, where this terrorist who killed these people in 2008, from the Australian.com.au, call to probe mystery Shia cleric. Federal agents have been urged by the nation's senior Shia leader Kamal Musulmani to investigate an Iranian man purporting to be a prominent Islamic cleric. Sheik Musulmani told the Australian yesterday the mystery cleric, who had been identified as Ayatollah Mantegi Borojerdi on his website after appearing under the name Sheik Haron, was not a genuine Shia spiritual leader. Doesn't add up, this guy. How on earth is the government supposed to make you feel safe with all of these terrorism laws that they have in place right now, when this guy can commit this act of terrorism in broad daylight and have it continue for so many hours. Do you really think this wasn't staged? This was a joke. This is disgusting. This is a despicable act. But we need to look at what's behind it. And I understand that I'm going to be unpopular, but like I said, I am strong enough to handle all of these criticisms. And I want you to have courage, and I want you to have strength as well, because I know talking about this is going to alienate a lot of people. But you need to do what's right in your heart, and you know what's right in your heart. I know you want freedom. I know you want freedom. All we have to do is convince enough people that freedom is the right way to go, that they don't want tyranny. When people understand the dichotomy, they'll see that all they want is peace, truth, love and freedom for them and their children. Let's get there together. And once again, even before they pass more laws, here are the results. Queensland police ordered onto streets in response to Martin Place siege, from brisbanetimes.com.au. Queensland Police Commissioner Mr Stewart has ordered every available police officer onto Queensland streets as the nation reacts to the Sydney siege. But Mr Stewart said that there was no indication or intelligence that any attack was planned for Queensland. So there's no intelligence that there were any types of threats for Queensland, but they want every single available officer on the streets to get you used to the idea of living in a police state. This is slave training. And I'll be damned if I live my life as a slave. I'm a free man. And I'm talking to free men and women. I know this because you've had the courage to tune into this broadcast. You have the spirit of freedom within you. Follow it. And you won't go wrong. And this is what we're dealing with. These people. Killers, murderers, terrorists, torturers, and people who are proud of it. From RT.com, I'll do it again. Cheney defends CIA torture, calls interrogators heroes. Former VP Dick Cheney expressed no regret over CIA torture techniques employed against detainees in the war on terror, even as a judge considers forcing the White House to release the remainder of the damning photos. Cheney was apparently unfazed by the cruel accounts of torture techniques performed by the CIA at various foreign black sites, as described in the Senate Intelligence Committee's lengthy investigation. I'd do it again in a minute, Cheney told Meet the Press's Chuck Todd on Sunday. The people who are behind all of this terror, they are psychopaths. They enjoy inflicting pain on others. They have no compassion. They have no empathy. Compassion, empathy for one another, love for one another is what's going to cause us to triumph. Because darkness will not win in the end. Light will prevail. Love will prevail. And it's up to each of us to make that happen. And I'll end on this sad note. Brazilian student taser death. 3 police not guilty of assault of Roberto Curti. 3 police officers involved in the fatal arrest of Brazilian student Roberto Curti in Sydney CBD have been found not guilty of his assault. Only one officer, Damien John Ralph, has been found guilty. Prosecutors said that the police had used unnecessary, excessive and unlawful force against Mr Curti, who died in March 2012 after a chase and violent struggle. It was revealed last month in court that just hours before Mr Curti's assault, he was screaming for police assistance while being bashed by 3 teenagers. He'd been hit with a taser, handcuffed, hit with capsicum spray and knelt on. Policemen Scott James Edmondson and Daniel David Barling were charged with assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, while Chin Aun Lim and Ralph faced a count of common assault. All 4 pleaded not guilty. The government gets away with murder on a daily basis. They get away with theft on a daily basis through taxation. They use the theft to pay for the murder. They get away with lies on a daily basis through the prostitute media. They get away with so much, and yet I still have faith. I have faith in the human spirit. I have faith in the power of love. I have faith in you. You'd better believe I have faith in you. You can do it. Together we shall do it. Who are they to control the world? Who are they to force you to give them money, to extort you? Who are they to spend billions on these monstrous weapons of war and use them to kill millions? Who are they? They are nobody. They are the evil scum of the earth. And they don't stand a chance against people who follow their hearts and follow the power of love. It's getting hot under these lights. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who supported me. To the people who insult me, I love you too. And we're on this journey together, and I want you to be free as well. What's happening and what's happened in Sydney, there's a lot more to come. But we can prevent that by coming together in love. I know that we will defeat evil. I know that love will prevail, and I believe and declare that together we will crush the new world order. Spread this message. I love all of you. Let's do the right thing. The revolution is here. Woo!